Like most people these days, I had a fucked up childhood. Who doesn't, right? My father took off before I was born, and my mother was left to care for me on her own, a skill she was sorely lacking. My mother slipped right back into the drug-addled party lifestyle she enjoyed before I was born, and it soon turned our two-bedroom apartment into an opium den. For the first 5 years of my life, I walked around in a confused, terrifying mist. The smoky air would flood down the hallway from our living room and slip under my bedroom door. It always seemed to linger for days. I know now that my mother was not a bad person, just a victim of her addictions. When she did have spare money, she would put food in the house or buy me clothes from Goodwill. The only pieces of furniture I had in my bedroom was a mattress set and a little blue and white toy chest. Not that I had a lot of toys to put in it, of course, just the three I had gotten for birthdays. One was an art kit, one was a red wagon, and the last, my pride and joy, was a doll named Betsy. Betsy was my best friend. We would have imaginary tea parties together, sleep together, and even take baths together. Sometimes, I even remember her voice. When I thought back on my conversations with the doll in adulthood, I realised that I was likely suffering from delusions, thanks to the always present butts of smoke that had laid claim to the dingy hallways and drafty bedrooms of our small apartment. Still, I remember the sound of her voice, a pleasant, tinkling lilt that was always coupled with a raucous giggle. I also remember the things that she had said to me, and the things that she wanted me to do. She'd ask me to steal, usually food or pens and pencils. She wanted me to bring her forks and knives, and hit the bad man who slept on our couch. It was always something, and I would always get in trouble. But she wouldn't. When I told my mother who would put me up to these games, she would scoff and shake her head. She never believed me. Adults never do. Around my 6th birthday, I asked my mother for a birthday party. I wanted to invite the mean girls to school and serve them cake and ice cream to make them like me. I remember standing in the kitchen that day with such hopes, having asked the most important question in my entire life. The glass bottle of Coca-Cola I held was shaking in my nervous hands. I waited with bated breath as my mother continued putting groceries away, almost as if she hadn't heard me. But I knew she had. Finally, just as I failed a second time to muster the courage to repeat my question, she turned around and gave me a flippant shake of her head. A birthday party? Laura, that's ridiculous. I can't afford to feed 15 children that aren't even mine. Hell, I can barely afford to feed you. You eat like an elephant, especially for a girl your size. Or, I'm sorry, Betsy does. There's barely anything left for me to eat around here, much less a classroom with other people's brats. My face fell as she shook her head, mumbled something else under her breath, and stumbled off into the living room. I heard the music go up then, as more people walked in the door. Some left, some stayed. I never knew them either way. It simply wasn't fair. My mother threw parties all the time. What about me? I was a kid. All my friends had birthday parties, and now the mean girl at school would know I was too poor to have one, and they would tease me even more. I felt tears start to well in the corners of my eyes, and I choked back a sob while I ran to my room and slammed the door shut behind me. Betsy was lying on the bed and smiling. She was always smiling. Usually it made me feel better, but today it just made me angry. She just kept staring at me, smiling. She knew she was going to tell me to do something bad again. This is why my mother wouldn't throw me a birthday party. It was because of all the trouble I got because of her. This was her fault. Betsy didn't have to go to school, and Betsy never got in trouble like I did. And in my young mind, I truly believed that it was the doll, not my mother, who was to blame for everything. I snapped then. I screamed in indignant rage and threw the bottle as hard as I could at bed. It hit Betsy on her forehead and she fell to the floor. Good. I picked up the bottle and I hit her again, and again, and again. I thought I heard her laugh, and I hit her harder. Then I laughed. When my rage was spent, I dragged Betsy to my toy chest and drew her in. I slammed it shut and kicked the chest against the wall. I never wanted to see Betsy again. Ever. I never opened another doll after Betsy. About a week after, the police came, and two nice ladies took me to live with a new home in a new state, with food and toys and no drugs. The trunk went into storage and the wagon disappeared. I never saw my mother again. As I got older, my foster parents admitted she was in jail, doing 25 years. That was fine with me. I felt nothing for her anyway. I still had nightmares because of my life with that woman. Then slowly, I began to heal. I focused on doing well in school, and I ignored my mother's letters from prison. She reached out to me several times in my 20s as well, though I always denied her calls. That is, until this morning. I'm 30 now, my own children and a loving, honest husband. I have a beautiful house, 2 dogs, and a career as a social worker trying to make a difference for kids who had it bad like me. I'm happy, I'm steady, and I'm content. So when I got a voicemail from my mother informing me she had been paroled and that she wished to speak, I decided to let her say her piece. Since the kids were home from school, I went out into our shed and in the backyard to return my mother's call. The shed was the children's domain and they used to play in it in the summer. I sat on my old toy chest, which is currently being used as a tea party table, and dialed the number she had left me. 3 rings. Hello? Laura? Hello, Mother. How are you? Oh, Laura, thank you for speaking to me. I know you have your own life now and a family. I would love to meet them someday. Just wanted to tell you how sorry I am for everything. Mother, you are not meeting my kids. Ever. And since you called me, I'm going to say what I needed to say for years. The opium, the heroin, they destroyed you. And the worst of it is they almost took me down with you. I was 5. That was no home for a child. Honestly, I'm surprised it took you that long to get caught. Laura, I know how it seems, but I honestly know nothing. Look, it hardly matters, and I do understand why you feel that way. Why you would hate me and not want me to meet your little ones. I learned a lot of forgiveness while I was away, and oh, just Laura, I'm sorry about Betsy. Betsy? I paused, confused. Why would you care about her? I know, Laura. Believe me, I do. It was all my fault. The drugs, partying, and Betsy. Oh God, if I only paid attention, if I had only known, she's gone, it's because of me. As my mother began to cry, I tapped my fingers on the toy box, impatiently. The drugs had clearly fried her brain. Mother, I sighed. Why are you talking about Betsy, and why do you even care? I know where Betsy is, right underneath me. What are you talking about, Laura? Oh God, where is she? I shifted uncomfortably. Well, Betsy's in the trunk, where she's always been. There was a beat of stunning silence. What do you mean your sister's in the trunk? Sister? What the hell are you talking about? Back on drugs so soon? That's a record even for you. Betsy is a goddamn doll. I locked her in my toy box a few days before you got arrested for possession. Laura. Oh God, no. No, Laura, what have you done? I wasn't arrested because of the drugs, Laura. I was arrested because of Betsy's disappearance. You always called her your little doll, but we thought you knew. Oh God, we thought you knew, Laura. No, what have you done to my baby? My mind had gone blank, with no emotion. I set the phone down next to me and stood up. I could hear the muffled sound of my mother's anguished cries and feel the dark clutch of possibility in my own chest. Memories were stirring the back of my mind, threatening to flow forward into my consciousness. I pushed against the door in my mind that it had been so locked so tightly for so long that I'd forgotten what it was even there. Was it even possible? Could the trauma and the opium have really led me to believe that a small child was actually a doll, begging for food and utensils to eat with, asking me to protect her from the bad man? No. I slowly turned around, brought my eyes down to the makeshift tea party table. Surely it was too small. You couldn't fit a person in there, you couldn't. But then, what about a very small, starving, emaciated child? What about her? Would she fit? Would an investigator even bother looking for a person in this chest? I knew I wouldn't. It was just too small. And I'm sure we owned the toy box at some point over the years, hadn't we? or something be swimming in the dark. The rest of my memories always stop me. I couldn't remember ever seeing it open. I knelt down to the ground and opened the clasps. It would be better not to look. After all I had overcome, this new life that I had earned for myself, it could all be undone by opening this toy box. I shouldn't open it. I should throw it in a landfill and forget it even existed. I should not look inside. I opened the chest. I never had a doll. My mother could never afford to buy me one. I never had a wagon either, for that matter. But I did have a toy box. A pretty blue and white toy box. And when I was 5, I beat my little sister to death and put her in it.